A few moments later.
All right, guys. So once again, it's a holiday, which means that there's probably going to be some sort of mass shooting that happens in an inner liberal city. And no, we're not talking about a mass shooting that is committed by so-called white supremacists, who the liberal left and the Democrats tell us is the biggest threat to black people in this country, right? White supremacy, biggest domestic terror threat. In my opinion, I think that we have domestic terrorism going on almost, again, every day in this country. Except, again, it's not coming from these so-called white supremacists. It's actually coming from the young scholars and the people that live in these inner liberal cities. These are the people that are most responsible for terrorizing black folks. And it's stories like this that come out of Baltimore. Okay, we're going to Baltimore. We're not talking about Chicago today. We're talking about Baltimore. That, again, prove my point. Okay, because you know, it's 4th of July coming up, people partying, people off work, and it seems like black people are the only group of people that can't come together over a holiday and party and have fun without slaughtering each other, okay? Because you never hear about stories like this when it comes to the white man in their neighborhoods or the Indian man or the Asian man or, you know, I mean, shoot, I don't even hear that much about Hispanics slaughtering each other while celebrating Cinco de Mayo or something. I'm just saying. You only hear about these type of stories with black folks. Just a couple weeks ago, Juneteenth, okay, black people killing each other. Can't even celebrate being freed by the white man, right, from being slaves. Can't celebrate that without, you know, killing each other. And lo and behold, 4th of July, you know, the other Independence Day, right, according to the wokes, okay, hey, more black folks kill each other. So let's check out what happened in Baltimore. This time, over 30 people were shot at a pretty tragic scene at a block party, right? A block party in Baltimore.
We know 2 victims are dead this morning because of this shooting. We just learned their ages moments ago. We learned that one of the victims is an 18-year-old woman. The other one is a 20-year-old man, both dead now because of this shooting. We know 28 more people are hurt because of this shooting. Now, we don't know a whole lot about those victims at this point, but we do know that this all unfolded during a block party here in the Brooklyn neighborhood in South Baltimore. A couple neighbors told me they were having a blast. It was a good time until it ended in tragedy and gunfire. And you can see that this.
Yeah, so again, ask yourself, real talk, because the left is going to say, well, this is a gun problem, right? There's too many guns, okay? When the reality is that there are plenty of mostly white neighborhoods where there are plenty of guns, and you never hear about stories like this, where there was a mass shooting in a mostly white neighborhood, okay? You don't hear about it. Why don't you hear about it? Because clearly guns aren't the problem, okay? Guns aren't shooting themselves. It's the person, it's the people, it's the culture of people that have the guns, okay? That is the problem. It's not the guns. It's the fact that, again, black folks, the culture of violence is so prevalent that we have to be violent against each other even when we're trying to celebrate, when we're trying to have fun. To me, it doesn't seem like it happens to any other group of people. Now, if there's some stories out there of mass shootings occurring in a mostly white neighborhood with mostly white people, somebody please send me the story. I want to see it, right? But I haven't really seen too much of that, okay? There's not too much trailer park violence going on. You know what I'm saying? They say, you know, even poor whites seem to be able to live amongst each other peacefully, right? Without committing mass shootings against each other every single day, okay? Just an observation. Maybe I could be wrong, but just an observation. There's a problem here. There's a problem. And this is a problem that refuses to be addressed. You got the wokes boo-hoo, whining and crying about affirmative action and how, you know, black people can't get ahead. You know, no. This is the reason why black folks can't get ahead. Stories like this. It's hard for black people to get ahead when you got black people holding black folks back, right? You can't even party, celebrate a holiday without worried about getting your head blown off by some hoodlum who's trigger happy, can't control his emotions because he's been raised by a single baby mama, right? He's been raised to be emotional. If it's not a gun, then he probably would have stabbed somebody to death. Again, we don't know the actual race of the perpetrators, right? But if I had to guess, if I had to just take one guess, they're probably not white. Okay, however, they tell us that white supremacy is the biggest problem. It's the biggest problem.
This is still a very active scene here this morning. This is 6th Street and Audrey Avenue. This is actually a couple blocks over from where the shooting happened, but the shooting scene really spans blocks at this point as police try to comb through evidence and try to piece together how this all happened. Police say they responded to the 800 block of Gretna Court at 12:30 this morning. They say they found that 18-year-old woman dead on the scene. Medics took 9 more people to the hospital. That's where the 20-year-old man died as well. 20 people walked.
Again, so you got an 18-year-old and a 20-year-old. Now, the reason why they couldn't go to college is not because of affirmative action, it's because they were killed. A lot of the victims are kids, okay? They're teenagers that got shot. And in my opinion, the biggest thing holding black teenagers back is, again, living in neighborhoods, living in environments like this where they have to worry about this type of stuff rather than worrying about schooling, education. Instead, they're worried about how to survive, how they're going to get home without getting shot or robbed or beat or having some type of violence committed against them. But again, this is not what these people are talking about. This is not what the woke revolutionaries are concerned about.
Walked into hospitals all over the Baltimore area. Again, we know that 2 people are dead this morning and 3 more people are in critical condition fighting for their lives. Police do not have a suspect at this point, and they're asking anyone with any information to please give them a call.
Treat this as if it were your family and how you would want people to treat it if you were mourning, if this was your neighborhood, if this was an event in your community that this happened at. We want you to treat it that way because that's how we have to treat each other as Baltimoreans.
And that was Mayor Brandon Scott at a press conference about an hour ago. Now, police say that they're actively looking through video, trying to figure out who did this and why. We're expecting to get more updates throughout the morning as this is a developing situation, and we promise to bring you those updates on air and online as soon as we learn more. For now, reporting live here in South Baltimore, I'm Brianna Ross, WBAL TV 11 News.
All right, thanks so much, Brianna. And as she was mentioning, 2 dead, 28 others injured after this mass shooting in South Baltimore. To get more on breaking news alerts, download our
Yeah, so the irony here is that you have the councilwoman in residence actually blaming the police for this mass shooting, claiming that this was an immense systemic failure, right, by the police because the police didn't show up. Now, I want you guys to understand, the woke revolutionaries told us that police are dangerous to black folks, right? Therefore, we should have less police around black people. Now you have black people who probably most likely voted in the same direction that the woke revolutionaries agree with in regards to defunding the police, okay, not liking the police, are complaining because apparently there weren't enough police presence here to prevent violence, right? But we were told that, police were a much bigger threat to black people than other black folks, right? That's what we were told. It's just kind of funny to see how they want to place the blame on police instead of focusing on the criminals. But let's read here. On Sunday, chairs were clearing the debris from the party, the solo cups, plastic plates, and lawn chairs, while police investigators plucked shell casings from South Baltimore yards. The annual, quote, Brooklyn Day celebration had erupted with gunfire overnight, leaving 2 people dead and 28 others wounded. Police said it was a shocking, unprecedented number of victims, even for a violent city. Around the courtyard of the Brooklyn Homes Housing Project, families slowly emerged Sunday with anger and frustration. Where were the police? Some wanted to know. There's always police presence every Brooklyn Day, said a woman crying who asked for anonymity to ensure her safety. Usually we have the streets blocked off. We didn't even have the streets blocked. It was a mess. No. The woke activists running your city said that police shouldn't be around black folks, right? Police are dangerous. So why do y'all want police now? Again, it's funny how that works. When a mass shooting goes down, all of a sudden now you want police. As the cleanup and investigation continues, authorities have announced no arrests. Questions arose about whether the city should have taken proactive measures to keep the peace. Social media videos showed a crowd of hundreds. The celebration had started off with a cookout, DJ, and pony rides for the kids. But tensions escalated into the night. Two women had attended the party, said the crowd scattered repeatedly because of fears someone had a gun. The DJ warned partygoers that this was no place for quarrels. Shortly after midnight, police say the shooting started. Councilwoman Patricia Porter represents the neighborhood and visited the scene Sunday. Porter said she was angry about the lack of police presence at the festival. Quote, "The fact that there are no police officers here is an immense systemic failure." The city police union, meanwhile, seized on the violence to again draw attention to Baltimore's persistent shortage of officers. Quote, "Would anyone care to guess how many officers from the patrol ship were working in the South District at the time of this mass shooting? 7. 10 years ago, there would have been 20 from the shift." Yeah, well, because they decided to defund the police. Police are dangerous for black folks, right? Again, until, stuff like this happens and then they're begging for police. An 18-year-old woman died at the scene near the 800 block of Greta Court in Brooklyn Homes, and a 20-year-old man died at the hospital, police said. Of the victims, 9 were taken to the hospital by ambulance and 20 others walked in, according to police. Authorities listed 3 people in critical condition. A dozen people were treated at the R. Adams College Shock Trauma Center, and 4 people at the University of Maryland Medical Center's Pediatric Emergency Department, according to University of Maryland Medical System spokesman Michael Schwarzenberg. It was a level of violence unprecedented in recent years in Baltimore, bringing a grim and tragic end to an annual community celebration that began with a cookout, DJ, and pony rides for the children. See, this is why when black people say, "You ain't invited to the cookout," okay, just because you are conservative, I say, okay, cool, because, I mean, there's a chance I can get shot going to the cookout, so it's probably best for me to stay away. The Baltimore Police Department held an early morning briefing on the shooting and declined to answer additional questions later Sunday. Yeah, so again, another holiday, another celebration, more violence in these inner liberal cities. It's really a damn shame, and nothing's going to be done about it until we at least acknowledge the reality of the cultural problem that we have in these inner liberal cities and stop blaming everybody else for these problems. But hey, what do I know? I'm just some dude on the internet. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.